Happy Tuesday. Time for Tidbit Tuesdays. So we're in October. Things are going to really ramp up with open enrollment. And one of the things that I want to address is medical debt. You probably saw one of my posts a few weeks ago how that has changed. And I've been looking at these things a little bit differently. And I feel like I have a responsibility to help people be well so their insurance can cost less and to help them stay out of medical debt. So we're going to talk about that piece today. So staying out of medical debt. So what does that mean? So with deductibles increasing, the out-of-pocket max is increasing, people definitely have an exposure to how much they could potentially be in debt for or receive a bill for from a medical provider like ER or hospital. Majority of all visits to the ER are due to accidents because that's when you're going to seek medical care. There's sometimes people are sick and it's the weekend, they go to the ER. I never recommend doing that. Use urgent care or teledoc. The ERs are not meant for anything but a serious illness like a heart attack or something, or stroke, something like that. But for accidents, that's when most people seek care at an ER is due to accidents. And if you have a plan that has a $7,000 deductible, you are going to be on the hook for $7,000 plus your copay or percentage up to your out-of-pocket max, which right now sits at around $9,200. It's going up to over $10,000 next year. So if you go to the ER, you can, unless you have a zero copay plan where your copay is only $2,000, and I say only jokingly because $2,000 it's a lot of money, but $2,000 is better than $10,000. So if you end up in the ER, you're looking at a huge bill. So what can we do to offset that? So there's a great accident plan that is very affordable that I feel like people need to have. They need to have some kind of accident coverage. The plan I really like will give you a lump sum benefit. It starts at $2,500. We can give you benefit all the way up to $17,500, which is a lot. Usually I'm trying to cover the out-of-pocket max. So I try to get that price point there so you're not overpaying for some insurance coverage. But it will pay that benefit for actual charges when you go to the ER due to an accident. So that is very affordable. I'm going to be presenting that with all my quotes that I give to people. You can choose to opt out of it. That's fine. But I feel I have a responsibility to tell you about it. And then you get to decide whether you want to add that or not. The other piece to that accident plan is that you can add a couple of riders. So if you are worried about having a critical illness and using your out-of-pocket max, or you're going to be in the hospital due to an illness, then we can add those riders. We can add critical illness riders. We can add hospital riders on there. Yes, that does increase the cost some, but when you look at covering that huge exposure you have with your out-of-pocket max and deductible, it can be well worth the money spent. These riders are guaranteed issue, so they're not going to turn anybody down. There is a caveat for pre-existing, and I can talk to people individually about that. There's a waiting period for most things if you have something pre-existing, but I think this is a really, really great way that people can get that peace of mind that even if they do end up in the ER or end up in the hospital, that they have some coverage to help offset that out-of-pocket max that's going to be crazy this year. People are going to have enough expenses with the cost of premium increasing. So I feel like this is a small thing we can do to help offset that. So if I fail to mention it to you or fail to include it in your quote, please make sure you ask me about it. That's in my little tagline under my signature. But I'm really going to have I really have a strong focus this year in helping people in the long run save on their out-of-pocket costs and save on their health insurance because they're being healthier. I'm going to talk more about that next week. So until next week, peace out.